Oh, hello there. YouTube game, I remember when MTV actually used to play music videos. Here, back at it again with another banger. Okay, so you know how sometimes you remember something from your childhood, but it's so weird that part of your brain tells yourself, like, did I hallucinate this or did this actually exist? That's actually been kind of my subconscious experience with the show Video Mods now for about 15 years. I was showing my kids a couple music videos from back in my day, and I was trying to explain to them the significance of actually showing up on MTV at the time and even what MTV is, because we are at that level now. But in this discussion, I had this sudden moment. I had like a core memory that just unlocked out of nowhere. I incepted myself, and I had another core memory that I unlocked just thinking about all this stuff. So in high school, I made a Sims 2 machinima set to the song Cupid's Chokehold by Gym Class Heroes. And the plot of the whole music video was that I fell asleep playing The Sims on my laptop, like during school or something like that. And I had this whole like 500 Days of Summer type of whirlwind romance with this girl that like literally didn't look anything like my ex-girlfriend at the time, because, you know, I thought that making a Sim love music video would somehow make her jealous, because millennials invented cringe. What can I say? That memory stuck out for me for the longest time, but I never remembered what actually inspired me to kind of take that step and make it. And that is the reason why I have brought you all here today. Reason is video mods. I completely internalized the concept without remembering where that initial inspiration came from. So once I remembered the name of this show, I did what any rational adult would do. I fell down a YouTube rabbit hole at 1 a.m. discovering that video mods was indeed real, and it aired on MTV too in about 2004. And it's just slowly and quietly being scrubbed from the internet like some sort of shameful MTV secret. Oh, I also do want to say that I did have the music video up on YouTube. It eventually got taken down due to copyright, so it is now lost media. I have my own lost media. Like that. Hey, you know what? I was born for this shit.
Step on it, Daddy!
We're just going to talk about the show really quick. We're going to talk about its inception and kind of where it all came from and the environment that it was birthed from. There's actually a couple interesting things. Like, in a way, these people were ahead of their time. The people that worked on this show made something that was cringe and yet somehow revolutionary at the same time. And I think that's how a lot of things work. First it seems cringy, and then everyone's like, oh, whoa, So I don't know.
And here's the SSX3 crew doing their thing, gossip folks, and you are not going to believe this.
So to understand why this show existed, we need to time travel back to 2004, 2005. This was a very unique cultural moment in time. Video games were just barely starting to be considered normal in the mainstream. It was still primarily viewed as a kid's hobby, but it was normal nonetheless. The PS2 was the console to have, and it was considered the absolute pinnacle of gaming and graphics that anyone had ever seen. YouTube didn't exist yet, so online discourse about The Matrix was limited to like whether the third movie sucked. Pimp My Ride had just premiered as like the ultimate millennial lottery, and Frosted Tips were still technically acceptable in some states. It was what a time to be alive. The concept of video mods was simple yet bizarre, not a JoJo reference. Take characters from popular video games and make them perform music videos to current hit songs. According to an article from Wired, MTV executive Alex Coletti explained it as this: music videos and video games are two roads that have been pointing at each other and about to intersect. He continued, I know that our audience, when they're not watching music videos, they're playing video games, and here's a way to do both. Okay, I didn't think that I would be breaking this early in the video, but here we are. So stupid. What Mr. Coletti failed to mention, though, was that these two roads were also like covered in potholes and a whole bunch of like junk and poop in the road, and it was on fire because of an oil spillage. And then it was like that one time when a whole bunch of D20s fell in the middle of the highway, because at the end of that very extended metaphor was this end result. And I mean, like, you gotta see this for yourself. The best way I can describe the aesthetic of video mods is, what if a PS2 cutscene had a baby with a screensaver from 1998, and then they gave that baby some cool vaporwave glasses or something. For example, Exhibit A, we have BloodRayne, character from the PS2 era who I believe killed Nazis, which was a good thing, but I mean, her whole design was the fact that she was made for 14-year-olds like me. But anyways, here she is performing in a Gothic cathedral. Now, look at her polygonal face attempting to mouth Evanescence lyrics, while her limbs move like whoever animated her had only ever heard about human movement through secondhand accounts. And here's the infamous SpongeBob video that you might recognize. It went viral a few years back, being touted as lost media on places like TikTok and Reddit, but I think it's really the perfect encapsulation of what made this show simultaneously special, deeply cringy, and still somehow, like I said, ahead of its time. The stilted animations, the bizarre concept, the surreal spectacle of it all. You have cartoon characters dancing to pop punk and rap, and it's just all here in its uncanny glory, made by corporations and record labels. So, referencing an article from Polygon, 4 days before this was supposed to air, SpongeBob's creator, Steven Hillenburg, rest in peace, rejected the idea of SpongeBob singing with someone else's voice. I mean, fair enough. The team had to remake half the video, turning it from a band performance into this dance contest in just 4 days. Imagine telling your boss that SpongeBob lip-syncing Blink-182 was too far, but his dance moves were totally on brand. That was all fine. And like, the crazy thing about this is, like, this is a TikTok trend now, that I have seen the whole like SpongeBob versus Sonic versus Mario dance battle things. Like, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Me forcing my kids to watch these videos for research, they just kept muttering like cursed over and over and over again. My 7-year-old wanted to know, and I quote, "Why do they move like that?" And this leads us to the fascinating disaster that was the production of this show. Going back to Polygon, the show was created by Tony Schiff, who had worked with Madonna and Michael Jackson, and Chris Rinkowitz from Marvel and DC Comics. They pitched the idea of video mods using BloodRayne performing to System of a Down Chop Suey, which is both awesome and hilarious.
Wake up! Run, rush, and put a little pick up! I just have to fade away the shake up! Why'd you leave the keys up on the table?
The pilot was literally made in Reniquitz's, I'm sorry if I messed that up.
Hey, I'm Chris Renkowitz. I'm the animation director for Video Mods.
It was literally made in his garage in 3 weeks and just by one person. As someone who has helped my kids like make stop motion movies, and as someone who has made my own machinima, I am in awe of this dedication to what such a questionable concept.
Do you see him? Do you think a depressed person could make this? No.
So for season 1, 8 people formed Big Bear Entertainment in San Francisco. They used it to build a render farm full of NVIDIA towers that generated so much heat that sometimes like they couldn't even work in that room. For season 2, IBC Digital partnered with the University of Buffalo Supercomputing Center. They did this as a way to try to optimize their output. And I mean, apparently it did work, because now it only took an hour to render a video and a full day to transfer the frames. I mean, let's be honest, like a really good phone or tablet could probably do the same thing today while you're making your coffee, but I mean, like, at the time, that's actually really impressive. Glancing through the Wikipedia page for video mods, I discovered some truly wild pairings that really perfectly encapsulate the show's energy. They fully committed to the early 2000s emo scene and scene, with the protagonist of the survival horror game Silent Hill 4 performing Taking Back Sundays. This photograph is proof. in a game called Death Jr., which I completely forgot existed until now, writing this script, by the way. We're performing My Chemical Romance, because nothing says welcome to the Black Parade like a cartoon Grim Reaper child. Like, you know what? Hold on. Come on. I gotta show you some of this. So, let's go. Alright, that's better. Nice little change of scenery. So EA was the main beneficiary of this whole music video service. They frequently threw in multiple games into the same video, creating these weird posse cuts with characters from completely unrelated titles. It was like a weird corporate crossover episode that nobody asked for, but definitely got. Some pairings were WTF in the kind of hilarious way, kind of like we have Fight Club the video game, which yes, there's Fight Club the video game. Like, I'm laughing because it's a very ironic thing. Anyways, Fight Club the video game being featured with Lil Jon's Get Low. Yeah, it's just topless men fighting while rapping to a literal strip club anthem. And then there is the Lineage 2 paired with The Killer's Mr. Brightside, aka America's National Anthem, aka the greatest song in all time. And it looked exactly like a fan music video that you would see in like 2005. Honestly, even 2025, because I mean, some things never change. It's very hard for me to make it through that entire video because of just how cringy it is. It is probably because of the fact that it reminds me of something I would have made in high school. And then there are other pairings that make you really question, like, what type of message were they trying to send? So Jade Empire, a golden age BioWare RPG with like very East Asian aesthetics, that was paired with Christina Million's Dip It Low. The only reason I can think of that is because of the vaguely Eastern Asian sounding intro to the song. And the only reason that would make sense is because it's early 2000s media and, you know, it's racist as hell. My personal favorite, though, was the discovery of The Sims 2 doing a recreation of Stacy's Mom by Fountain of Wayne. Stacy, can I come over after school? This and the Lineage 2 video probably gave me the false confidence that I needed to not only make my Sims machinima, but also include it in my high school's weekly news show, which my entire school, all 1,500 of them, were forced to watch. It was like I was built for this level of public humiliation and embarrassment. More importantly though, and of all of this, from the music video, The Sims 2 actually wouldn't allow these types of relationships without mods, which is like, I think, the real biggest offense out of all of things. Problematic age dynamics are one thing, but inaccurate gameplay representation, that can never be tolerated. So to go back on topic so I can go off topic again, video mods wasn't MTV's only desperate attempt to tap into gaming culture. This was part of a larger trend of MTV trying to maintain relevance as their core audience was increasingly spending time with controllers in hand instead of watching music videos. Sorry, my dog is scratching herself inside her crate. And it's also important to remember that this was happening alongside the rise of dedicated gaming channels like G4 TV and Tech TV. Rest in peace to both of them. For a brief, beautiful moment in the early to mid 2000s, us nerds were eating damn well. We had X-Play, Attack of the Show, Filter, Screensavers, Portal. If you remember Portal, I'm actually going to do a video about Portal, so Portal and subscribe. MTV was just trying to figure out how they could keep eyeballs on their channels as people realized that they could just watch this stuff at their computer instead of having to spend their time on their TV. Video mods was just one experiment in a sea of attempts to really stay relevant in a rapidly digitizing world. So securing rights for this show was described as a swamp. Approvals from video game companies, record labels, and random third parties who could reject content at the last moment. Like, I actually have a little bit of background doing these types of negotiations and discussions and approvals within like the gaming space. Previously, I would compare both to me trying to negotiate screen time with my 4 kids during summer break. Everyone has veto power, nobody's fully satisfied, and someone's always filing a last-minute appeal right before bedtime or deadlines. Some collaborations were surprisingly hands-on.
Whenever like a hip-hop group would be like on a Disney Channel or Nickelodeon or something, like here they come with the pump, like the pump up, and we would always like clown it. But since it's a video game, it ain't really us, it's cool. But we wouldn't do the Disney hip-hop pump.
I'm too cold, y'all can't throw me out, check me out. I'm too cold.
George Lucas personally approved the Star Wars video from Skywalker Ranch himself. That means that this man watched Yoda, watched Luke, saw all this, and gave it the big thumbs up. Because just like Jar Jar, Anakin with a guitar is the key to all this. Also, do you think this is what inspired that one Xbox Han Solo Connect game? Let me know in the comments. The Beastie Boys, for their video, they insisted on doing their own motion capture for their NBA Street Volume 3 video. Also, shout out to NBA Street. The team had to ship equipment from LA to New York, and when a computer broke in transit, they needed to ask for an emergency license from a Spanish software company in order to basically get everything that they needed working together at that day. The license expired at midnight after they fixed it, which was forcing them to start over again the next day. It's really that soul-crushing moment when you realize all your work is gone, and I think that really hits the same, whether you're a professional animator or a kid with a controller. The difference is that these animators had corporate executives breathing down their necks, while my son just has his impatient sisters asking when it's their turn.
Why am I scared? What am I afraid of? I don't even know. This story never had an end. I've been waiting, I've been searching, I've been hoping, I've been dreaming.
What's wild is that The Wired quotes the producer openly admitting the very commercial nature of the whole endeavor. To quote, "MTV is a non-stop advertisement for music. In terms of being promotional, yeah, that's why they give it to us. While corporate and shilly as hell, I mean, you at least have to respect the fact that they were 100% transparent about it." Now, there were plans for a 3rd season featuring Daddy Yankee, then Dixie Chicks, now known as the Chicks, and actually 50 Cent as well. G-Unit, 50 Cent's rap group, pitched ideas for the 50 Cent video involving 2 gangs squaring off with machine guns and a whorehouse. Now, I do like to imagine like how this pitch meeting went, but then they ended up having 50 Cent Blood in the Sand and the other 50 Cent video game. Apparently, in hindsight, MTV was missing out on an extra gold mine there. So to me, the fascinating thing about video mods is how it accidentally predicted our current entertainment landscape, like verbatim. In 2004, video game characters performing pop songs was novel enough for TV. But I mean, today we have Fortnite concerts with millions of players watching like Eminem and Travis Scott perform in real time. Video mods walk so all of this could run, and by walked I mean like moves with the grace of a toddler wearing roller skates for the first time. Entertaining to watch, yes, but eventually somebody has to step in and say, hey, come on, let's just take it slow. And also what's crazy is like now we have VTubers with millions of subscribers and Hatsune Miku selling out actual concerts. The people who made video mods went on to work on games like Psychonauts 2 and shows like The Great White North, so they were at the very least able to transfer those skills to other places. But still, yeah, we've come full circle in the weird, strangest way, the cringiest way I may say. As cringe-inducing as video mods was, it was clearly ahead of its time. The show anticipated the collision of gaming and music cultures that's now really commonplace. The difference is that technology finally caught up to the concept and is able to fully execute the vision. What was janky and uncanny in 2004 is now seamless and immersive and monetizable in 2025. According to Polygon, the creators did announce plans for a video mods reboot using Unreal Engine and hoping to pitch a couple games that they had with the project titles of Flash Mobs and Supergroup, and it was supposed to be focused around social media. I can already hear your eyes glazing over because they never mentioned anything past that initial announcement. I'm guessing that they realized that they really missed their window. The concept that they really pioneered had already been absorbed into the mainstream digital culture, and it's now being executed with far better technology by companies with much deeper pockets and also shitposters and gooners with far fewer restrictions. And that is the true Darth Plagueis of all of this. What took an entire production team and a university supercomputer in 2004 can now be done by a sleep-deprived 19-year-old with a decent laptop and questionable judgment at 3 a.m. The democratization of technology means that video mods' spiritual successors are now being created daily by people who've never even heard of this original show. Tragic. Like, I don't even know if I could think of what video mods would look like in 2025. It'd be like one of those really cringy montages in DreamWorks movies where they just put in a whole bunch of really famous songs from that year and it shows the date of how old it becomes. Or it would be something like God of War's Kratos performing As It Was by Harry Styles. Or maybe it'd be something stupid like Playboy Cardi with Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
When the best outside, little bitch, you better be ready.
I'm sorry. And like, speaking of which, in many ways the internet has kind of given us a very modern version of video mods. I mean, we have Glorb, who turned SpongeBob into a hardcore drill rap transmedia universe. And I mean, with a decent computer and free software, anyone can take any characters from their video games and have them do anything from dancing to Kendrick Lamar to, well, appearing in the Italian Senate during lockdown. Like Tifa la Carta. That's just video mods with fewer corporate approvals and more criminal charges, let's be honest. The democratization of animation software has basically turned everyone into a potential video mods creator, for better or definitely worse. I'm looking at you, source filmmaker. So as video mods rapidly disappears from the internet, I find myself in this strange position of being a keeper of digital memories that my kids will fully never understand. Some things just don't translate well across generations. Except racism, apparently. Like, my kids have watched this and they will admit that it looks dated and old, and why are there so many pixels in this video quality? But they do also kind of grasp the idea that this was essentially people trying to do Toy Story level stuff with DreamWorks level production. Zinger. But on the real though, my kids did watch a lot of this stuff and be like, I could make that in Minecraft, which I mean both completely misses the point and is also entirely true. Hi Donut. What's really fascinating is how video mods accidentally predicted our entire digital entertainment landscape. Like, my kids now are navigating digital spaces at their age that would have blown my teenage mind. And I realize that that's kind of the true legacy of experiments like video mods. Not just the specific videos themselves, luckily there was a channel that found like most of them and uploaded them, link below, but also just the fact that digital expression is available to everyone if you are willing to just do it. Like, these pioneers were solving problems that nobody had tackled before. The uncanny results we laugh at now represent genuine innovation, which directly led to the tools my children take for granted. Oh my god, it's wrapped around this tail. So yeah, in conclusion, Video Mods was weird, it was janky, but I mean, it was undeniably ahead of its time. It represented a very messy intersection where gaming culture crashed headfirst into music, television, and kind of starting to push its way in the mainstream. And in doing so, they ended up creating something that is both horrifying and visionary. And by preserving these digital artifacts, I'm not just indulging in my nostalgia, I'm helping my kids understand the evolutionary steps that created their digital playground. And does that sound a little whatever? Yeah, it does, but also at the same time, like, I'm right. I have these on my NAS now. They are now preserved in digital format, so it won't be lost media. Unlike my Sims 2 video, which is lost media. Someone find that. And maybe someday when my children are potentially parents themselves, if they don't want to have kids, I won't blame them. Like, have you seen outside? But they'll be trying to explain to their kids why they once spent hours making their Roblox dance to different TikTok and YouTube songs. The cycle will continue with just better hair physics and fewer licensing nightmares. At least I hope. Okay, if you have made it this far, you have made it to the end of the video, obviously. Thank you for making it this far. This was one of those things that, hi Donut, I really had fun making this video, as you can tell, and I had fun coming up with this script, and I had fun watching these weird ass videos. So let me know what you think. If there's any other weird, obscure, kind of early 2000s TV show that you want me to talk about that you vaguely remember, let me know in the comments below and I'll check it out. As I stated earlier, I have I think all the episodes of Portal, so I'm gonna start watching those, and I have just a big old list of other stuff that I want to do. So I need to go apparently feed my cat. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everyone who's been subscribing lately. It all means the world to me. Gonna hit 3,000 soon. And yeah, thank you. All right, bye.